Death is the question that silences nearly everyone. People can argue about morality, success, God, identity, freedom, and suffering, but death sits underneath all of it like the final wall. It is the one fact no one can negotiate with. No wealth can bribe it. No intelligence can out-argue it. No ambition can outrun it. Because of that, people tend to split into two camps. One says death is absolute annihilation. The other says death is a doorway. Most people choose one not because they know, but because they are trying to manage fear. But within the framework of the absolute order of God, death must be examined differently. The question is not merely whether the body stops. Of course it does. The question is deeper. When a living pattern breaks apart, has something truly ended, or has it only changed form? That matters because if reality is structured, if nothing exists outside order, then death cannot be a random interruption. It must also belong to the same system. And if it belongs to the same system, then it is not chaos, it is function. The human mind fears death because it is attached to form. We mistake the temporary arrangement for the total reality. We call the current pattern me and assume that if this exact configuration ends, then everything meaningful ends with it. But that assumption may be the most emotionally driven conclusion of all. It treats what is visible as the whole. It mistakes present structure for final truth. Yet everything in reality suggests otherwise. Nothing simply vanishes without consequence. Nothing exists without entering a chain of effects. Matter changes state. Energy transfers. Actions echo. Speech alters minds. Love shapes generations. Violence does the same. A single act can outlive the actor by decades or centuries. Even biologically, the body is not a fixed thing, but a temporary arrangement of materials drawn from the world and later returned to it. So why should human life be interpreted as a sealed unit when everything else in existence behaves as process, continuity, and transformation? Death, then, may not be best understood as deletion. It may be better understood as the dissolution of one pattern and the redistribution of what that pattern carried. This does not reduce death. It does not sentimentalize it. It does not pretend grief is not real. The ending of a person's embodied presence is devastating precisely because a unique arrangement has been broken. A voice will not speak again in the same way. A face will not turn toward you again in the same way. A body that once held consciousness, memory, personality, humour, pain, and relation is no longer operating as it did. Something real has ended. But it is lazy thinking to jump from something ended to everything ended. That leap is usually driven by emotional absolutism. A song ends, but music does not. A wave collapses, but water remains. A season passes, but life continues in another phase. A tree dies and becomes soil, feeding the next growth. The individual form ceases, But the system does not lose what has been entered into it. It transforms, absorbs, redistributes, and continues. The same may be true of human existence. Read The Absolute Order of God, Book 1, on Amazon.